Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be going through a scenario in which Donald Trump loses the Rust Belt, but he still is able to win. He gets to 270 electoral votes or more than that. So I'm going to see if that's possible. Of course it is possible because you could just give Trump California or New York or something like that, but it has to be within realistic boundaries. So I'm going to start off by filling out some of the states that I know are out of reach for him, and I'm going to also just fill in the Rust Belt because this scenario has Trump losing the Rust Belt. So I'm going to fill everything in, and yes, I think that's it for safe states. Yep. And now I'm going to fill in some of the states that Donald Trump would just have to hold on to if he wants to get to 270. So that's 260. So he's going to have to win all of the states that he won in 2016, except for the Rust Belt. So he can't lose Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, Texas, Nebraska 2nd Congressional District, Maine's 2nd Congressional District. He has to win all of those. And now we're going to look at these states. These are the states that were within 10 points in 2016. And I do believe that if the Rust Belt is going blue, that it wouldn't make much sense for Donald Trump to win Minnesota, just because of the way that the Rust Belt and Minnesota trend the same ways when you look at 2012 compared to 2016 and 2008 compared to 2012 in how they border each other. So it isn't the Rust Belt necessarily, but you could add it in because it just wouldn't make that much sense if I gave Donald Trump Minnesota but not the rest of the Rust Belt, or at least one of the Rust Belt states. So now I'm going to go and analyze these states. These are the states that could give Trump the victory. So first of all, I think that the most likely scenario would be that he wins Nevada. So that's 266 electoral votes. I think that the reason why it's easier for him to win compared to many of these other states like New Mexico, Colorado, Virginia, I mean at large, because he could capitalize on the Gary Johnson voters that this time will probably not be excited by Joe Jorgensen, and that 3.3% is enough to win the state. Also, he could improve in Clark County, and there is a possibility that he wins in Washoe County. Not to mention the fact that he could run up margins in these rural areas, and Nebraska's been trending red for the past few election cycles. Ever since it went to Obama in 2008, it's been trending more and more Republican, and Donald Trump's been it's even trended to the Republicans in 2016, so even now that we know that Joe Biden isn't the best at exciting the Hispanic vote, you could see a scenario in which Donald Trump actually takes the state. So that's why I think it's pretty likely. I only put it as a lean state in my actual predictions, so it is very possible that he takes the state. And then he just has to take New Hampshire, and that gets him to 270. So New Hampshire is here, and it's 4 electoral votes. It also has the Gary Johnson, a lot of Gary Johnson voters. And look, the margin between Clinton and Trump is only 3,000 votes, and Gary Johnson is 30,000 votes. So that's enough for Donald Trump to win the state, even if he gets a small portion of the Gary Johnson voters. And I do think that some of these Gary Johnson voters, they would have switched over to the Democrats in 2020, but it is true libertarians align more with the Republicans, but there are a lot of more suburbanish types of Democrats who care more about social issues, or are less impacted by economic issues, who might have voted for libertarians or supported the libertarian nominee Gary Johnson, and might move over to Joe Biden. But I do think for the most part Donald Trump will be able to get more of the libertarian voters, and he just needs to, he could just like narrow margins up in like a few precincts, and that it would be enough to win the state. So it's within reach for him. Even in my actual prediction, I only have it as a lean Biden state, and that gets him to 270. So let's just say that he doesn't win Nevada or New Hampshire, and both of those go to Joe Biden. What could he do in that scenario? So, of course, you have to carry Colorado. He could do this by just winning every single Gary Johnson voter. That would be enough. And he could also carry the 1% of McMullen voters there. And maybe he improves in exurban counties that many of them are starting to trend towards the Democrats. And he could capitalize on the fact that Joe Biden underperforms with Hispanic voters. And let's just say that's enough, and he carries Colorado. If he carried Colorado, in that case he would also carry Nevada, and it would also be very possible that he would carry New Mexico, but that would also get him to 270, so let's just say that he doesn't. And then what does he need to do to get to 270? Well, he could get any of these 3 states. He could get Maine, Virginia, or New Mexico. I think that Maine at large is the most likely state that he could flip out of those 3. And again, same story. Gary Johnson has 5% of the vote here, and Jill Stein's presence isn't enough to really change anything. He could improve in the rural areas here in Maine's 2nd congressional district. He could improve in the suburbs around Portland, and that would probably be enough. So that would tip him over the edge. And let's just say that he doesn't win that. What else could he do? He could take Virginia, which is not likely, but he could. And if that doesn't work, he would take New Mexico. And let's say that he can't get Colorado, he can't get Maine at large, or New Hampshire, or Virginia, or New Mexico. I'm going to just take all of those states off again. I think that's all the states that I included in this video. So there are a series of combinations that you could go through, but those were just the most likely scenarios. You could also have something like New Mexico goes to Trump, or Colorado goes to Biden, Virginia goes to Trump, or maybe say Arizona, New Mexico, and Nevada go to Biden. You're gonna have to flip one of these. Maybe he gets like Nevada, and then he gets New Hampshire and Maine. So there are countless different scenarios and many different maps that you could choose from, but I've just mapped out the most likely pathway to 270 for Donald Trump if he does not win any of the Rust Belt states. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.